Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Well, as you can probably gather from the title, this is another tent review. One of my New Year's resolutions was not to buy any more tents this year, but that's quickly gone out the window. I was looking around at trekking pole tents. I've never had a trekking pole tent before, and I thought I wouldn't mind giving one of those a go, just see what they're like. So I had a look on the internet, YouTube, various forums, and by far the most popular one that I could see was this one, the Durston xmid 2. Now it seems very popular for quite a number of reasons. The cost, the space you get with the tent, the features it's got, and the materials and construction of the tent. My two main fears with trekking pole tents were, firstly, how sturdy are they, and secondly, most of the trekking pole tents I've seen, the trekking poles are actually situated in the middle of the door of the inside tent. So I was quite wary about, if I woke up in the middle of the night bursting for a pee, because I'm a bit of a clumsy oaf, that I'd, in my haste to get to the toilet, I'd knock the pole down, hence the tent would fall down and disaster had happened. Now with this tent, I can quite safely say that the design of it means that those fears have really been allayed, especially with this trekking pole tent in the middle of the doors, and I'll show you that later once we've got the tent up. Anyway, the weather's not looking too good. I'm in Derbyshire. It looks like we might be getting some rain, so I'll crack on and put the tent up, and then we'll have to take a look at it. Well, there you go, that literally took me 5 minutes to pitch the tent up. It's the easiest pitching tent that I've ever known. It's absolutely fantastic. So, what's so good about this tent then? Well, let's have a look round it and you can decide for yourself. Well, the first thing you'll notice about this tent is it's not peculiar, but different shape to normal tents. A bit about this make of Durston. It's there on both sides of the tent. A chap called Durston in America is an adventurer, hiker, outdoorsy person. Decided to set his own company up a few years ago and manufacture his own tents. And he's been very successful. When he first started making these tents, I think he made them in batches of 300, and they literally sold out within minutes. Now the tent itself is constructed of 20D sil poly, unlike most tents which are made out of nylon. Now this gives you a couple of benefits to start with. Firstly, sil poly, it doesn't absorb as much water as nylon does. With nylon tents, if you've had a heavy downpour, they tend to sag a little bit, so you have to retighten the guy lines and everything. Whereas sil poly, it only absorbs 10% of the moisture that a nylon tent would. Hence, if you've had a downpour during the night, you've got to pack your tent away and carry it the next day, this poly material is going to be a lot lighter than the nylon tent. It's got a hydrostatic head of 3,500 I believe, and this is the second time I've actually used the tent. The first time, literally within 2 minutes of me putting the tent up, we had a right downpour for about half an hour. No water came in, nothing at all. Absolutely fantastic. As you can probably see, I've got a footprint for this tent. Now, Durston do make a footprint themselves, but it only covers the actual sleeping area. I've had this specially made by a company called Quintcraft, and they'll basically make you a footprint for any tent, however you want to configure it. You can have it with just one vestibule, floor covered, or both, as I've done. Now, some of the things I like about this tent. First up, these are really, really clever. I don't know if you can see that. They're actually magnetic clips to hold it up. So I haven't got to fiddle about with toggles or anything like that when you're putting this outer sheet up. The zips themselves, they are waterproof zips, YKK zips, and so it'll withstand virtually anything that you can get in this country anyway, in the UK. Now, I don't know if you can see, I have actually put out a guy line. You get 2 guy lines actually attached to the tent, one at either end. Now, to be truthful, you don't really need to guy it out at all. This tent isn't going anywhere, it's as solid as a rock. Yeah, but I just put these 2 guy lines out just for a bit of added security. You can basically erect this tent with just 4 stakes, 1 in each corner, and it's perfectly fine, unless you're expecting really extreme weather or strong winds or anything like that. As I say, it's as solid as a rock. The only other bits that I've pegged out are for the vestibule area on this side and also on the other side. You have got various other points that you can tie out if you want to. You can see them there. And at either end you've got a nice big vent. Helps with the airflow and obviously the condensation. The only other guy lines that I actually use on the tent are, pull them out a bit just here, and it just pulls the outer tent away from the inner tent a bit more, gives you a bit more circulation inside, and again helps with the condensation. Although the first time I used it there was hardly any condensation at all inside the tent. Now, you're probably wondering about the shape of this tent. It's basically an oblong shaped tent, but the way he's manufactured it is that this ridge line goes from this corner here and it goes diagonally across, as you can probably see. Now, most tents, the ridge line will be straight down the middle or across or anything like that. That helps to maximise space, and it also allays one of my fears, because if you can see inside, the trekking pole tent is to the side of the door. That's the same on both sides, and so that fear of mine of getting up in the middle of the night and knocking the pole over, there's no problem at all with this tent. You have got large vestibule areas on both sides, as you could probably see. There's absolutely loads of space in there to get your kit in. And again, it's the same on both sides. You've got doors to get inside on both sides. Another thing I really like is the actual height of the tent. I'm 6 foot tall. I can comfortably sit up in this tent, get changed and everything like that. No problem at all. To be perfectly honest, 2 6 foot people could sit in this tent quite comfortably. The only slight negative I've got, well, I've got two really, but then I'm nitpicking, that's all I'm doing. When you get inside the tent, as you can probably see, because it's diagonally across this side of the tent, you've got plenty of room for your head. And then if you sleep diagonally across, you've got absolutely acres of space. If there's two of you in the tent, it's a bit tight on that other side there for somebody's head to go. I don't know if you can see on the camera properly, but it comes down quite a bit. In that corner over there, that's the opposite to this one I've just shown you. Got plenty of room for your head. So if there were two people, ideally you'd have to sleep head to foot on each of you. Now the inside of the tent, I don't know if you can make this out, that's where the trekking pole goes, and there is a brass fastener in there to put the tip of your trekking pole in. All of the main areas are reinforced, double stitched, they're all seam sealed, so it's absolutely solid as a rock, as I say. And all the points where you've got tying out points and everything, it's all double stitched and everything. Absolutely fantastic quality of tent. Now the unfortunate thing about this is you can't actually buy these in the UK, not that I'm aware of anyway, so you have to buy them from America. Currently they're just over £200, which I think is absolutely fantastic value for a tent of this quality. They are made in China, however they're made in the same factory that makes MSR tents, which are one of the top quality tents, and you can tell just by the stitching and everything, it's just top quality. If you do decide to purchase one from America, just be aware that you are probably going to incur some import charges. I did, but I still got the tent for less than £300, which for something of this size, something of this quality, the space you get inside the tent, I don't think you can beat it with any other tent. It's absolutely fantastic, as you will probably gather that I think of it. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you later.